Want to move on to this. This is something that I shared yesterday about the Toronto Film Festival and how they blocked a documentary about October 7th from being shown because Hamas didn't give footage permission. Yeah, if you watch yesterday's episode, then you will know this. Despicable Film Festival nixes October 7th documentary because Hamas didn't give permission to use the footage from the October 7th massacre that they themselves filmed and they posted on social media and they live streamed, their satanic evil. And in this regard, you really need to know that Hamas and the Palestinians, the vast majority of them, they're far worse than the Nazis. Far worse than the Nazis. Oftentimes they get compared like, these are the new Nazis. They're worse than the Nazis because the Nazis, to a degree, they knew what they were doing was wrong. They knew what they were doing was evil. That's why we actually have the stories of a tremendous number of Nazi soldiers that were working at these concentration camps that were systematically murdering the Jews. And many of them, they account for how every night they would go and they would drink themselves stupid. They would drink themselves stupid to drown out their misery and drown out their knowledge that what they were doing was evil. When it comes to Hamas and the Palestinians, they loved it. They were streaming it. They were videoing it. They were recording it. They were celebrating it. They were promoting it throughout all the world. But here we have, once again, Toronto, who blocked this October 7th documentary because Hamas didn't give them permission to use the footage. The same city, this is what I wanted to show because this was just today. We have the same city of Toronto, where the Toronto police allow Hamas supporters to block Vaughan Street and Bloor Street this morning in downtown Toronto, happening right now. And I posted, and it was the Toronto International Film Festival, TIFF, that wouldn't allow an October 7th documentary to be shown. Why? Because they didn't have permission from Hamas to show the footage. Not even kidding. Check this out. The Toronto police allowing for this. We're going to block off two main roads right here in downtown Toronto for this. These Hamas sympathizers, these terrorist monster sympathizers and supporters. Oh, and some of the people that are there supposedly are Jews. Supposedly. Because here we have this retarded, person here wearing, it's like it just says everything. You wear that diaper on your face, it tells us everything we need to know about you. Absolutely everything. And then the shirt says, Jews say no to genocide. Jews say no to genocide. And there's another one coming up. Check this out. Jews say stop arming Israel. Jews say stop arming Israel. And I hate this. How there are Jews who sympathize with the murderers, with the Palestinians, and are against the nation of Israel, the only Jewish nation in all the world. And who are these Jews? They're blood descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but they're fully given in to the ways of the world. They're full-on leftists. And it's tragic that one of the main cities of Israel is just this, Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv is one of the most liberal cities out there. And there's a lot of Jews in Tel Aviv that are complete leftists and liberals, and even they hate the nation of Israel. And then they present this kind of stuff where it's like, hey, I'm a Jew and I hate Israel. I'm a Jew and I'm against Israel. I'm a Jew and I stand with the Palestinians. I'm a Jew and I stand, with Gaza and with the West Bank and all of these people. These would be the kinds of people that it is spoken of in the book of the Revelation, chapter 3, verse 9, which I have to say, I can't stand the people who use Revelation 3:9 in order to justify all of their Jew hatred, just demonic, satanic Jew hatred of just Jews all over, right? Revelation 3:9, we have the words of Jesus Christ, who says to the faithful church in Philadelphia, ancient Philadelphia, the not modern Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, no, the ancient city of Philadelphia in Asia Minor. And Jesus says, I will make those who are of the synagogue of Satan, who claim to be Jews, though they are not, but are liars, I will make them come and fall down at your feet, the feet of the righteous, and acknowledge that I have loved you. First of all, context, this was written in 96 AD, and delivered to a literal people in a literal ancient city of Philadelphia, okay? Can't divorce it from the context. Is there prophetic understanding that applies to all people throughout the world? Yes, there is, but you need to understand the history. If you don't understand the history, then you're going to be twisting and perverting this word into what so many people do. It's like, look, they're the Jews. The Jews of the modern state of Israel. Oh, they're not actually Jews. They're, of the synagogue of Satan. Candace Owens is one of these, idiots and, immoral retards that uses this. It twists it in this way. What is this verse really saying? What it's really saying is, in the first century, the term Jew referenced anyone that was of Israel, the house of Israel. Whether you said Jew or whether you said Israelite or whether you said Hebrew, you were basically talking about the same thing. The term Jew indicated somebody that believed in the one and the only true God, Jehovah. And that belief, if you believe in the one and only true God, Jehovah, well then, by default, according to the Hebrew mind, you're going to be living as Jehovah has commanded you to live. You're going to be living your life in adherence, in harmony with the commandments of God, with the Torah of God. However, there are plenty of those people who claim to be that, claim to be believers in the one and only true God and keepers of the commandments of God, but they don't actually do it. They don't keep the commandments of God. They, like we read previously from Isaiah and Hosea and 2 Timothy, they reject the Torah of God. They reject the commandments of the Almighty. They turn away from the truth and turn towards lies. And yeah, such people, their physical bloodline in that instance doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're direct descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. If you're not actually truly believing in God and keeping the commandments of God, living your life in the ways of truth and righteousness, well then, if you're of the world, then you are of the house or the synagogue of Satan. This verse is saying the exact same thing that Jesus talks about in the end of the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew chapter 7, that there will be many people that have been calling him, Jesus, their Lord, many Christians, and on Judgment Day, they're going to be calling out to Jesus, Lord, Lord, didn't I prophesy in your name and cast out devils and demons in your name and work mighty miracles in your name? And on that day, Jesus will say to them, I never knew any of you. So depart from me, you practitioners of lawlessness, Torahlessness, you people that routinely break the commandments of my Father. You don't keep the Torah of God. There are many people in today's world who call themselves Christians, meaning a follower of the Christ, who are anything but. They are not followers of the Christ. They are the followers of the world, followers of the god of this world, Satan. They hate the truth and they love the lies. They hate the good and they love the evil, and all the while they call themselves Christians. You are not of the house of God. You are of the house of Satan. You are not of the church of God. You are of the church of Satan, if that's who you are. And that is all that this verse is talking about. Revelation 3:9, that is the only thing that it is saying. It is saying that there are those who claim to be Jews, claim to be Israelites, claim to be believers in the true God and keepers of his commandments, but they don't actually keep the commandments of God. They are not of the synagogue of God, they are of the synagogue of Satan. And when it comes to these kinds of people, that's them. Okay? That's them. Who say that, hey, look, I'm a Jew, and I'm against Israel. I'm a Jew, and I hate Israel. You're not of the synagogue of God. You are of the synagogue of Satan because you're evil, because you're wicked, because you're perverse, because you hate the truth and you love lies, because you have rejected the commandments of God, you have ignored the Torah of the Almighty, and you're going after all the ways of the world. Same thing once again with any Christian who does the same. And there will be many of them on Judgment Day that Jesus is going to say, I never knew you. Get lost. Go to hell, where you belong. You that do not do the will of my Father in heaven, you that have been calling me your Lord, but you don't care about the actual Word of God in living your life in accordance with the Word of God, you practitioners of lawlessness, get lost. You are not of my Father's house, you are of Satan, the adversary's house. So I am so sick of Jew haters and Israel haters. And when I say Jew haters, I'm talking about people that just hate the Jews in general. And they use Revelation 3:9 in order to justify their hatred. No, you can't do that. You can't do that because the truth will win over your stupid lies. But here we have an example of that type of thing. Here we have an example of someone who possibly, we don't know, but possibly is a blood Jew, blood descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And here she or he or whatever it is says, that, stop arming Israel. I'm against Israel. Okay. You're of the synagogue of Satan. This individual who claims to be a Jew, claims to be a believer in God, but is actually not a believer in God. The lies need to stop. The lies need to stop. And these so-called Jews that are against Israel and are for Palestine, whatever that is, never has existed and never will exist, but they're for these Arabs that started calling themselves Palestinians in the 1960s, having some kind of claim to the land, even though they have no claim to the land. These so-called Jews that stand with the Palestinians and stand against Israel, ultimately, these are the types of people that think by standing with the Palestinians, in this case the enemy, the true evil here, then they're going to treat me right. You see? A lot of people think that way, that, I'm going to stand with the world and the world's going to treat me right. I'm going to stand with, over here and it's going to be okay. The Spanish, they have a saying that's this same type of idea. And forgot the Spanish, but what it means, this saying, is that those who do well, who do the will of the devil, they are repaid poorly. Something along those lines, that the devil repays them poorly. That's what it is. The devil repays them poorly, those who serve him well. And you got all these people of the world who are serving Satan, and they think that they're going to be treated right. They're going to be, the devil's going to repay them nice and good. No. He won't. He can't support you. He can't save you. He can't uphold you. He's gonna bring you down to destruction right along with he himself. He's going to the lake of fire, and all of you people that serve him, you're going to the lake of fire as well. And it's all about appeasement. They think that you appease the enemy, you appease the Palestinians in this case, and they're going to treat us right. They're going to treat us good. No, they won't. They absolutely will not. And here is Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu talks on that very thing. Appeasement.
I want to talk to you about appeasement then and appeasement now. Before World War II, the Western countries tried to appease Hitler. He said, just give me a piece of Czechoslovakia and I'll make peace with you. And they cowed, and they bowed, and they yielded. And they gave Hitler a piece of Czechoslovakia, and you know what happened next. Hitler invaded Czechoslovakia and then started the worst war in the history of the world, World War II. Well, today the West is telling Israel, just give the Palestinians a piece of Israel and they'll make peace with you. No, they won't. For the last century, they've been offered a state of their own, and they refused because their goal is not to create a state for themselves, it's to destroy the state of ours, the Jewish state. That's their national goal. So we're not going to commit national suicide. We will not bow to foreign critics who lack the courage to face their own enemies, yet lecture us on how to face ours. We will not reward terror. We will defeat it. And the Jewish people will live free, strong, eternal in our land.
Oh, that is so good. It's just golden, like every word. Yeah. Oh. These people are saying, it's like, hey, I'm a Jew and I'm against Israel. And you know what? Just give the Palestinians just a piece of Israel and they'll make peace with you. A two-state solution. No, they won't. No, they won't. Absolutely, they will not. For the last century, they've been offered a state of their own, and they refused because their goal is not to create a state for themselves. And they were even given a state of their own. That's what Gaza is. It was run by the Jews, by Israel, for many years. And then in 2005, okay, we will pull every single Jew out from Gaza, every last one of them, out of that 26-mile stretch of land. And we will give it all to you, the Palestinians. We'll give it all to you. Stupid move by Israel, but that's what they did. They gave the Palestinians a state of their own, and the Palestinians immediately turned it into a state of terror. Elected Hamas in 2007. First, it was the Palestinian Authority, and then they held, an election. And, we're gonna put Hamas over us. Hamas, who states in their own charter, we exist to destroy Israel. Utterly annihilate Israel. That is the very reason we exist. Yeah. Just give the Palestinians just a piece of Israel and they'll make peace with you. No, no, no. No, they won't. Their goal is not to create a state for themselves. It's to destroy the state of ours, the Jewish state. The actual Jewish state. That's their national goal. So we're not going to commit national suicide. We will not bow to, I love this so much. I love this so much. That the people on the left who hate Trump and hate Putin and hate Musk, they also hate Netanyahu. They hate Netanyahu for the same reason. It's not that he's out of control, he's out of their control. And what Netanyahu says is that we will not bow to foreign critics who lack the courage to face their own enemies. These people on the left, one of the things that they constantly say about Netanyahu is that he's a coward. Imagine how deluded you would have to be to call this man a coward. He who has not only fought in war himself and lost family like his brother in war, but he who was prime minister, pulled his nation out of economic crisis decades ago, lost, then came back as prime minister yet again, fought Hamas before in 2014 Hamas war, and is now fighting them now, fighting against not just Hamas, but Hezbollah, the Houthis, Iran, and fighting against most of the world. Imagine calling somebody like that a coward. Like, you people are insane if you think Benjamin Netanyahu is a coward. I mean, you don't know the definition of the word. And he says, we will not bow to foreign critics who lack the courage to face their own enemies, yet lecture us on how to face ours. The arrogance of these people, that they would lecture Israel on how to face their enemies. We will not reward terror, we will defeat it. And the Jewish people will live free, strong, eternal in our land. And it is your land, and I salute you, sir. I salute you. Because the actual people that the leftists stand with, in this case, the Gazans, the Palestinians, with Hamas, because that's what, Toronto did. Like, Toronto is like, hey, we're going to even block off this whole section of street so that you Hamas sympathizers, oh, look, and there's a few, possible, blood Jews among you as well, so that you Jew-hating, Israel-hating Hamas sympathizers, that you can, and really just Palestinian sympathizers, that you can block off all this traffic so you can promote your hatred of Israel. Okay, want to know the actual people they're standing with? Give you an idea. Gazans set fire to a relief truck while the driver was screaming for help and burned to death. No one bothered to help him. This is who and what the Gazans really are. Just burn this man alive in this relief truck, which they did the same thing to babies, to actual babies on October 7th of 23. Burn them alive. And you're going to stand with these people? You're going to support these people? Well, of course you are, because you're of the world. You're of your master, Satan. Woe to those who call good evil and evil good, who put light for darkness and darkness for light, sweet for bitter and bitter for sweet. Woe to them, because their end is going to be eternally bitter.